I think it will recover. I think it will take time. I think it was overpriced, but I still believe in it as a business. I think there's lots of opportunities for them. I think there's a lot of tough decisions over the next year that they'll need to make, but I do believe it, that it will recover from the bad negative press that it's had.
Facebook, you know, is something that I've never agreed from when it opened from the start. You know, it's in a one-way decline, and it's because that it's a dangerous type of media. It's not just something that is social, it's actually, in my opinion, antisocial, and I think that Facebook has become its own worst enemy.
Well, in my opinion, it is only my opinion, but I think basically the price was too much. And essentially, right at the end, everyone kind of realised that Facebook doesn't actually make as much money as it might have seemed. And therefore, when it all went out, it was a bit of a damp squib. However, I'm almost sure it will recover.
I think there's a lot of hype there. Facebook is a great company. They do a fun product online. They're into a lot of different areas. But I think there was also a lot of hype with that. I think if that hype wouldn't have been there, it probably would have come out at a slightly lower IPO, which would have been more reasonable.
Well, to be honest with you, with the Facebook IPO, one of the things that I think Facebook were counting on was the Facebook stores. And Facebook stores didn't go the way that it was originally planned. Facebook seems to be now taking a look at, okay, how do we regenerate that revenue? It's something now we've got to get return on investment. So they're now looking at an acquisition growth by the looks of it. Whether Facebook stores is a little bit before its time, and it may become more interesting at a later point in time, that's something we'll have to just see how the market trends out.
I think Facebook has reached a saturation point. I think if you ask someone the last time they added a friend, it's very difficult to say when. I think and so because of that, people are starting to get bored with it. It's becoming more of a forum for people to show off, I find, rather than networking between friends. So people are losing interest that way. So I think they were quite clever to do it when they did and get as much money as they have done, because I think they probably knew that it was going down. But you know, that said, things change so quickly. I could be very wrong.
Well, this is a very interesting question because, in my view, aside from the deals that might have been done in back rooms to get the maximum share price for the existing investors, there are lots of interesting things in the run-up, such as the purchase of Instagram for much more than I think anybody in their right mind would feel it was fairly worth. And I suspect that it was planned all along to happen in this way. Whether Facebook's share price recovers in the short term is probably irrelevant to the people running Facebook, not least because they have so much control over the company that they're unlikely to need to answer to shareholders anytime soon anyway.
This is a really interesting question. Obviously, Facebook's decision to actually go onto the stock market was quite questionable. Now that they've launched it, there's been more disastrous issues with flotation prices and cancellation issues and orders going awry and all the rest of it. Personally, I think Facebook will recover because it's still the #1 social media platform in the world, and to be honest, it still has a bigger reach than any other medium that you could ever think of.
And could I just add to that, outside of the Anglo-Saxon market, for instance, we talked to our partner in Japan and asked them a similar sort of question. They don't care, they're not interested. Facebook dominates mainly in the Western, as Mark was saying, the Western markets. So it's a non-question to them, they're not interested.